In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a CNAME record using GoDaddy as your DNS manager. So this is the screen you see when you log into GoDaddy. So this assumes you've created your account and you've already bought a domain. So in my case here, I've bought this customdomainexample.com domain. And so what I'm going to do is from here, which is just on domains, all domains, I'll click on the domain that I've bought, and then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, and in this additional settings part of the screen, which is right at the bottom, I'm going to go to manage DNS, and this is the DNS management screen for GoDaddy. A CNAME record stands for canonical name record, and it's basically a mapping from one domain to another, and the most common type of CNAME is this, what you see already set up by GoDaddy by default, which is from the www of your domain through to the root of your domain, also known as the naked domain, and that's what this @ sign symbolizes. In this example, we're going to set up a subdomain using a CNAME record. So I know that I want to configure a subdomain called academy.customdomainexample.com. I'm going to do this because I'm mapping it through to another site that I have running. It's using the CourseMaker service, so I know that I want to map it to this particular service. So I'm going to copy that, and in my domain manager, I'm going to go to Add, and this box will appear where you can select the type. So I'll go to CNAME, and there's a couple of fields here. So host, in the case of a subdomain, is just the first part. So if it's academy.customdomainexample.com, we're just going to enter academy in the host box. So this is for setting up a subdomain. It's a common point of confusion because with some DNS hosts, you have to put the whole subdomain in because it's not actually a host field. It's something slightly different, but here with GoDaddy it's just academy or blog or course or whatever the name of your subdomain is, and then it's going to point to whatever you're mapping to, right? So this might be Cloudflare, it could be some other service site that you're running. It's likely that if you've arrived at this video, you'll know what that is. In this case, it's connecting to my CourseMaker site, so I'm going to grab this particular domain that it's going to map to, and I'll paste that in here, and then I'm going to just set the TTL as low as possible. This is the time to live, so you want this to be low. Half an hour is the lowest that GoDaddy allows, and then I'll go to save. Now I've actually already configured this. You can see here it is, and what you'll find is that after between sort of 15-30 minutes, these things can take a variable amount of time. So what you'll find now, if you visit the subdomain that you've set up, for CourseMaker, you'll see this custom domain setup in progress screen, and that's how you know that things are working. Note that in order to see this screen, I did have to clear my browser cache. The easiest way is probably just to open up your subdomain in a private browsing tab to check that this is all working as expected. Next up, I'm going to return back to CourseMaker, and I'll go to confirm here. And there we can see that it's done. So this is a good sign. And if we head back to our custom domain now and refresh, so it's probably going to take a little bit of time for this to apply. Okay, about 10 minutes has gone past. And now when I open up my custom domain, I've got my expected mapped course, which is the CourseMaker student site. So the custom domain setup is now complete. Now in my case, it took about 10 minutes of waiting for it to be set up. That 10 minutes can stretch out to up to 24 hours, although it usually doesn't. But just be aware that with DNS, it varies depending on things like your internet service provider. So there's some variability there.